No play. Big goon. Yeah, big goon. All you want to do is play, huh? All you want to do is play. Huh? Yeah, non-stop. Play, play, play. When's it gonna stop? Even late last night, she wants to play. When it's bedtime, wants to play with me. Nobody else. Right? Right, Papa? Goofy doggy. Alright, it's time to wake up. Let's wake up and have a coffee. Alright, you have to lay down in your sleeping bag. Be good, because I'm not here to play right now. Listen. No. Nope. Oh yeah. It's a new day almost. Almost a new day. It's pitch black out there. I don't know what time it is. 6 o'clock. 6 in the morning. It's funny when you get yourself conditioned to wake up at 4:35 for the majority of the year. It's not hard to get up at 6, right? Get things going, but I'm motivated because we have to take little Chippy. We nicknamed, the little boy's dad nicknamed him Chippy a little while ago because he fell over and chipped his tooth. Little Chippy. He's such a good, happy little boy. And he's going to head back over to his grandmother's today. So we have to meet her halfway with the journey to get him there, and then he'll be hanging out a few more days, then he's back home again. Sarah's going to go into depression. Anyway, a little fired up yesterday, huh? Doesn't take much to get fired up. If there's ever, when there's bad going on in your circle. More on that shortly. Now, what do we have? We have a whole pile. As usual. I'm going to get right at it first. First start rambling. Slowly wake up. Got an extra dog in here with me. So many stories in 50 years, this person writes in. Hey Steve, here it goes. I'm one of the few who were told they were monsters from a young age. My grandfather, a World War II Army veteran who survived the war, told me about the, quote, monsters, end quote, as a very young boy. Oh, lucky you. For real, and that's not being sarcastic, I mean you're lucky. He said they lived in the woods and came out at night mostly. Before I could read, they lied to me about the posted no hunting signs that Nebraska requires people to put on their property/land. I was told they were monster territory warning signs. So naturally, as I aged, I thought my elders were just trying to protect me by scaring me with stories and references to monsters. I began having experiences very young. The first one I remembered was very scary. Southeast Nebraska, on the Missouri River, just outside Nebraska City. That's where my grandparents' house and land was located. Keep in mind, their house had fields on the three sides and a co-op, feed store / grain elevator across the gravel road we lived on, just across the creek from the city limits. Small town, 6,000 people. In late spring, my grandparents were sitting at the kitchen table. About an hour after sunset, I was sitting next to my grandpa, and after supper we'd play cards or games. The window beside Grandpa was open, and I remember seeing the yard light getting blacked out / blocked out by something big and hairy. Just then, Grandpa must have felt the presence of something behind him and turned his chair to see what the heck was happening, and was met with a roar / howl / scream that was so intense I saw the curtains blow in from the windowsill. I felt the force of the blast of the scream from about 4 feet away. My grandpa jumped up to get away, and then turned to slam the window down to close it. He, like myself and Grandma, were frightened to our core. I can't express the power from this experience. The closest thing that I can imagine to describe it would be like if someone walked up, and shot a 12 gauge through the window screen at point blank range, while at the same time blasting a train horn through the window at us. That's a pretty good one. That puts us there. Cue for Steve to say, shit-eating experience, LOL. Yeah, right? I was 6 or 7 years old when this happened, and I immediately asked, what was that? My grandmother immediately said, the wind. I looked at her, she looked at Grandpa, and he lied and repeated wind. But he went to the front door and shut it and locked it. Steve, this is in the late 70s in farm country, rural Nebraska. The door was never shut and locked until bedtime, 10:15 p.m., after the weather on the news. So this alarmed me. My grandpa also went and got the 12 gauge single shot from his gun rack and loaded it. The jig was up. If it was the wind, then why did he get the shotgun? They turned off all the lights so we could see outside, and Grandma took me with her to shelter in the bathroom. It's the only room in the house with no windows. At some point, my grandpa said we were safe and could come out. I'll never forget the sound and how it overpowered my ears and distorted them, like loud music does at a concert. I was told not to tell anyone about it, especially my parents. I didn't either. I had a mom and dad, but my grandparents raised me, just saying. So, fast forward a few months to the fall and school. I walked home from school with my friends who lived on our road, rural route number 1. There were about 5 of us, walking a few blocks to the creek / city limits from the newly built elementary school. Then we would walk across a long, narrow pedestrian bridge, old, rickety, and creepy as can be. That's how kids who lived on our road would get home. Sometimes the walk home was uneventful. Having fun the normal way kids did back then. Grab ass, cussing, and throwing rocks, and in general just being kids. I'm sure you remember, Steve. Different time, different world. Is that ever a true statement? Different world, big time. Sometimes, though, we would get on that bridge over the North Table Creek, and everything would go silent. We'd walk at brisk pace until we got creeped out, and then would just all at once break into a full sprint. I never saw what we were running from, but we just knew that when we broke through the woods on the other side of the bridge, all would be safe. We would be safe. As this is the edge of my grandfather's land. Sixth sense being what it is, you just know stuff when you're a kid. Or I did, and I still do. More encounters to come. This took hours to write. I underestimated how much time it would take to recount, relive, and write down 50 effing years of my life. Long membership in this club of ours. I love you all. To everyone who has shared these private moments of fear, curiosity, and confusion with our fellow members, don't underestimate the strength and power we share by recounting our past experiences with our fellow humans. It truly has helped me, for years, to read and hear the stories of others and now share my own. There are a few experiences that I would have never considered sharing with the people. I now feel comfortable sharing everything because I have heard nearly identical stories here. The people have shared that people have shared, which I had previously felt nobody would ever believe. I will keep sharing and writing as time permits. Steve, we just never have enough time or money, do we? I agree with you. That's by design. The criminals that steal, lie, and try desperately to end us all daily, who try to pass themselves off as the elite rulers or politicians, are running out of both now. What a wonderful time to be alive. Thank God Almighty for the opportunity to be here while evil is defeated for good. I pray for that to happen, and I invite you all to join me in praying for the whole world to change to freedom and peace with prosperity and love for everyone. No better words spoke there. No better words spoke there, and I'll be convinced that the evil is losing when there isn't a war going on. That's my indicator. It's my indicator from what I understand. I watched a solid source. Said that right now, the United States has never been more close to war with China. Building bases right off their coast. Kind of like what Russia did to the United States years ago, right? Anyway, different topic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Send some more. Please send more. I know it's a pain in the ass to type it out. Try the voice to text thing. I've gotten through it before, even if the punctuation sucks. I'll read it. But please don't stop, all right? Please don't stop. Love your honesty and your support. And I absolutely appreciate the time you donated here. And I'm going to ask that you do it again. Please. All right, hold on. This is a note only for me. I'll have to read that after. All right. I don't know if this, maybe we've read this. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I read it. I hope not. Man, that was such a shit eater to have that phone wiped, right? With 2,500 unread emails on it. But that won't stop us. A couple of encounters and a huge portion of my puzzle filled. All right. End of September 2023. Recent. Steve, I wanted to send an email and share with you all of the good and honest people here in the round table of knowledge. I've watched and listened to most of all your videos since before you came forth with the Sabe Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or whatever people want to refer to them as. You have said, quote, take from it what you will or leave it, end quote. I've really been amazed at the great videos, shots, scenery, wildlife, and so on. I've also been intrigued by the thousands of encounters and stories that have come in from all over the world. My name is S.J. Webb. Yes, you can share my name. I live just outside in a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. I've got a few experiences and some information that have filled in about 90 to 95% of my puzzle on who these Sabe people are and where they come from. You can judge for yourself after I share. I spent a lot of time in the mountains of Arizona and the Mogollon, pronounced Mugion. Isn't that funny? I always say, my brain always goes, well, why don't they spell it that way? Right? If that's how it's pronounced, why don't they spell these words the way they're pronounced? Mugion Rim. I'm in my late 60s and I've done my share of fishing, hunting, and a heck of a lot of camping. When I was young, as a Boy Scout, there were stories of the Mogollon Monster, which I thought were just that, stories and folklore to scare ones around the campfire. I thought Bigfoot was just associated with the Pacific Northwest, and still until I started doing a little research on my own and came across the stories of Mount St. Helens and the experience of the servicemen that were assigned to the aftermath and care. Hold on, I gotta see what the dog's chewing on. Hold on, what are you doing up there? What you got? What do you got in there? Oh, alright, you can chew on that. Oh my god. Doesn't matter how big they get, they'll always be that little puppy to you, right? Sorry. There's a lot of irreplaceable things out there a dog can annihilate. Of Mount St. Helens and the experiences of the servicemen that were assigned to the aftermath and care. I've also watched some other YouTube channels where some of the stories may be true, but I can't get into them because of the way the subject is delivered. About 3 to 4 years ago, while staying at my daughter-in-law's family cabin, my wife and I were staying up watching a movie, and after it was over, we were getting ready for bed, and there was a very loud roar that I estimated was about 100 to 150 yards away, and both our jaws dropped. It was a deep, bellowing yow that shook us. My daughter-in-law's grandfather, who recently passed away from cancer, owned 2 cabins about 26 miles from Shawlow, Arizona, on private land off of a forest mountain road that is closed down from November through April because of snow and access closed by the National Forest powers that be. That roar was no animal. Right behind their cabin is a barbed wire fence that separates them from the National Forest, where there are a lot of wildlife, especially elk, deer, brown bears, coyotes, etc. Earlier that morning we spotted a huge tree structure. My son the next morning said it was an elk bugle. That was no elk. There is a hill about 100 yards northwest of the cabin. It is a good 50 to 75 yards high. I've got a good sense of direction, and the howl, I believe, came from a top of that hill covered in thick pine, fir, and spruce trees. Before my daughter-in-law's grandfather passed away, he sold those cabins, which also has a big pond in front, to 2 of her uncles. This last July, my wife and I were staying again the small cabin, and 2 of my granddaughters that are 9 and 10, and cousins from my younger 2 sons were staying in the other room. At 4:20 in the morning, I know because I looked at my watch, we were awakened by a loud elk bugle. And right following that were 2 very loud yells that started out low and ended with a high crescendo. Ooh-ah! These yells sounded to me like juveniles from the ages of late teens to mid-20s. I know too because one started right after the other. Our dog was with us in the room and usually would cause a ruckus at any sound. It was totally quiet. I asked my wife if she heard that while it was happening, and she said yes. How could you not? And was busy trying to record it. But it didn't happen again. My young granddaughters also heard it and told us later after they got up. Now for my puzzle. Not too long ago, someone sent in that mentioned in the Bible dictionary. Sorry, let me read this smoother. Now for my puzzle. Not too long ago, someone sent in that mentioned in the Bible dictionary it had the word hairy next to the name Esau. It was a light clicked in my head from my previous studies in the Old Testament. My faith has done a good job in cross-referring subjects and has a dictionary with the King James Version Bible, which during all translations from Greek, Hebrew, then to English, where King James got the top scholars of his day to put together what is the KJV. During all the previous translations and transcribing, a lot of things were inadvertently left out, and in some cases on purpose. But we have to do the best with what we have. Anyway, Esau and Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, were twins, sons of Isaac and Rebekah. Esau was born first, and in Genesis 25:25, and came out red and had hair all over him, like an hairy garment. Like he meant like a hairy garment. Being the firstborn entitled him to the right of all the inheritance of the father. Esau was a hunter, and Jacob was a plain man who had crops and herds. One day Esau came to Jacob and said, "Give me some food, for I am nigh unto death." And Jacob said, "Okay, but give me your birthright." So it says that Esau traded his birthright for a bowl of pottage. Esau, whose name was changed to Edom, and married outside of the chosen people, and was tricked by a plot thought of by Rebekah. And then he and his descendants, or Edomites, fought with the descendants of Israel, Jacob, or Israelites. The Edomites and Emims were as tall as the giants, also known as Anakims. Deuteronomy 2:10-11, who lived in their area. They were also cursed by the Lord and had to live in the rocks and under boulders and caves. Jeremiah 49:16-17. Now in Jeremiah, some of the prophets could only closely describe some things in the future. Like in Jeremiah 49:22, it says, "Behold, he shall come up and fly as the wing over Bozrah. And that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs." How many accounts have stated exactly that? I always wondered then, how did they get to the different parts of the earth? Well, in Jeremiah 49:36 it says, quote, "And upon Elam," now remember the Lord interchanges Edom with Elam, "will I bring the four winds from the quarters of heaven, and will scatter them toward all those winds. And thee shall be no nation within the outcasts of Elam shall not come." Now, could possibly Jeremiah be seeing UFOs or UAPs by saying scattering with the four winds? I believe he was. Jeremiah, also states that the Lord would bring evil and his fierce anger upon those that seek their lives. I imagine unless it is justified. Malachi 1:4. If they built houses or structures, the Lord would throw them down. I realize this is a lot to chew on, but to me it's pretty clear. Now, was their DNA manipulated some? Obviously so. Also, were they taught or did they learn their different powers and tricks? I guess maybe they can tell you those answers if you get a chance to meet with them. Why are our governments not honest with us? Maybe to protect the national forests, these beings, or is it just because those in power always think they know what's best for us? Either way, many in governmental positions are a bunch of buffoons, as well as half of the public. So, what can we do? Anyway, thanks again for all you've done and keep it up. Sincerely, S.J. Webb. What can we do? We keep doing what we're doing. It's working. It's working. We are getting the raw, true truths out. However shocking or absolutely too far out there they seem, we're getting it out, right? We're winning. We're getting the truth out. I think that's key. We may be repetitive in some ways and some of the truths that we're sharing and all the experiences, but it doesn't matter. We have to, right? Every single person needs to be heard. Every single person needs to be treated equal and priority when we can, right? Priority. But this is what we're supposed to be doing. Speaking freely, speaking openly, word for word. Everybody gets a turn, right? Nobody's in control. Nobody is in control of anybody here. That's what you do. That's key. Obviously, it's working. People are catching on to being able to speak freely and accept the fact that some things are going on. They always have been going on that we have been taught are impossible. Why do they teach us all this shit's impossible? Why do they teach us all to laugh when these topics come up, right? That's pretty alarming. It's pretty effective too. They did a good job. It's amazing how the manipulators figured it out, right? They figured out the correct recipes to manipulate so many people so smoothly. That's what I always see. It's just amazing to me to watch it. It's like, wow, how did they manage to pull this off in such a grand scale? It's amazing. It's amazing. If you have been on this channel for quite a while, if you just got here, I urge you to possibly go back as far as you can and just listen to all these people. Listen to how many people are here. Oh no, it's raining. Oh well. And then you realize just how smooth just how smooth of a ride these guys have created in their favor to keep all of you laughing at these topics. Right? You imagine how many people laughed at me, how many people that know me personally in the circles I've ran in. Hunters, fishermen, loggers, A-type construction, job sites. I was a contractor for many years too, right? A-type people all over the place, all around me. Imagine how many of those people who know me just started laughing at me, right? When I first came out publicly and went, yeah, this is what I see. You don't like it? Ram it. Right? You can't change the truth. Well, not with me anyways. You're not going to change the truth with me and all of you. You can't change the truth. You can laugh all you want. Use every belittling spiel you can come up with. It doesn't change a thing. It's not going to change nothing. It's not going to make me shut up. It's not making all the people shut up because it's truth. Right? Don't forget that poll. I forget who did the poll. Was it Rogan? Maybe somebody did the poll. I think that's where I heard it. They did a poll on what's the most scariest thing for your average human being, and surprisingly, it was the most common, most frightful thing for human beings is public humiliation. Crazy! How did that come about? Because we are a herd animal, right? We are a very, very insecure herd animal when it comes down to it. We have all the traits of possibly the most insecure herd animal on the planet. But anyway, with that characteristic that most of us share, being scared of public ridicule, that makes it so easy to manipulate the herd. Right? Very easy. All you gotta do is take a number of 4 people and get 3 people to laugh at one. Right? And if that 4th person doesn't get in line with the other 3 people, they're going to continue to belittle and laugh at them. And they can't take it, so they give in, keep their mouth shut, and fall in line. Done deal. It's too easy, right? Not anymore. It's not easy here. Actually, it's non-existent here. You can't shut people up here. You can't suppress the truth here. You can't humiliate people here. It's not possible. Because we don't allow it. Right? Do I believe the puzzle pieces that were just shared with us in that email? It's looking like it's possibly true so far. It's looking like it's making sense. And one thing I do know from my diggings is the DNA, our DNA, has been proven by various individuals that our DNA was intentionally manipulated with. Who did it? Who did it? What's this? This is long. Real long. Okay. Alright, let's read it. I don't know what it's about. It's titled Your Knife. It's titled Your Knife. Hi Steve, it's Bill from Florida. We emailed once several years ago after you started this adventure. I told you a bit of my story, a bit about my Army career and my experiences, and a bit about my interactions with these guys over the last 40 plus years. Go back to that area and send out a thank you. They respect you. What? Go back to that area and send out a quote, thank you, end quote. They respect you and see you as someone who belongs there. You will not have any troubles with them. I've had several items returned. One being get this, a knife. It was made by a very, very good friend of mine in the Army. He made knives and gave it to me as a gift. I never carried it on me. It was always safe in my truck. I have the seat covers with the mole attachment panels on the back. It had a moly clip on the back that I would attach it to the cover with on the Kydex sheath. It lived there for years. Sadly, my friend succumbed to cancer 9 years ago. We were close, very close. I knew when it happened. I'm talking high fives. Well, okay, I'll leave that part out, man. I get you. I got you. You guys were close. When we were together, we hardly ever actually spoke to one another, and my wonderful wife told me many times it was the weirdest thing she had ever seen. We'd look at one another and just move, putting together our fishing gear and roll out, or our rifles, camping gear, etc. We always knew what the other one was thinking and just moved. It saved our asses many times in combat. At any rate, I have a hunt camp of my own out in the middle of the state here. It is in a very unpopulated area, close to the river drainage. I have roughly 10,000 acres to the northwest of my camp that I can hunt at my leisure. Long story short, I was out there hog hunting, and I had taken my truck back into the woods and parked it to walk the last mile or so to a great area where the hogs were thick. I had gotten 2 me hogs and put them in my truck. What? Oh, I think you meant I had gotten 2 hogs and put them in my truck. When I got back to camp to butcher them, I could not find my knife. It was not there. I actually got in my truck and went back to the spot where I was parked and searched all over. I could not find it anywhere. Needless to say, I was extremely upset about this. I cleaned the hogs, packed the meat, and came home. I got my metal detector and went back to the area, parked again, short of where I was the first 2 times, and searched the area with my metal detector. I could not find it. It was roughly 5 months later, and I was back at my hunt camp. I arrived the night before one end, got everything set up, came out and closed my cow gate at my drive. There's going to be a couple typos, no big deal, we get it. I got up early in the morning and went out hunting. I opened my gate, took my truck to the west and parked, and this time hunted on WMA property. I came out of the woods around 1:30 in the afternoon, got in my truck, drove back to my hunt camp. On arriving, I got out of my truck, went to open my cattle gate, and there, laying on top of the post, on the opening side of the gate, was my knife and sheath. It was dirty and muddy, but otherwise in good shape. There was no one else around. Sorry, it's getting light out there. I did see something move. Just a cat. Sorry. It was dirty and muddy, but otherwise in good shape. There was no one else around out there, but there was my knife. I looked it over, and the plastic, I hope I'm pronouncing this word correctly, mole clip on the back had somehow broken, and I must have knocked it out of my truck. I knew that moment exactly what happened. I was very happy, it appeared, and I made sure to yell out a very hearty thank you. My wife is a bit of a rock hound, and we often take trips north from here to the Ocala National Forest and camp for a week or a week and a half at a time. We typically do dispersed camping, as we don't care for the noise and idiocy of the campgrounds. Well, while we're out there, she'll pick up interesting little things that she thinks are neat. One of those things was a unique piece of flint. It was brown, but very worn around the edges, almost like it had been in a rock tumbler. It had a translucent quality to it. She thought it was very neat, so she put it in her pocket. A little later on this hike, nature called, so she had to go water a bush, which she did alongside of the trail. We got back to camp. I started working on cooking dinner, and she realized that somehow this rock had fallen out of her pocket. She's a bit saddened by it, but not broken. There are more rocks out there, right? 2 days later, we left camp to go to one of the springs to go swimming for the day. After returning just before sundown in the evening to our campsite, when we walked up to our tent, no punctuation. When we walked up to our tent, there was the rock. It was laying on the awning, right in the middle of the awning of the tent. I have a 10 foot by 14 foot Kodiak canvas flex bow. So if you look up the tent, you will see how the awning is. It was smack dab in the middle of it. I giggled a little bit. She looked at me astonished, but we both knew what had happened. expect this type of thing to continue because it will. Just go with it. Tell them thank you. If you ever get down this way, by all means, let me know. We'll get together and do some real fun Florida boy shit. Take care, my friend Bill. Appreciate you, Bill. Quote, we both knew what had happened. Okay, Bill, tell me what happened. Right, you know what I mean? And I'm not being a dick or sarcastic. I'm just saying, using my brain. It's like, what happened? Who was it? How'd it happen? You know, like I said, with that knife, just bam, showing up in my backpack. It's easy for people to say, oh, the forest people did it. It's such a kind, warm thing. Just say thank you. Oh, they're so kind and warm and loving and thoughtful. How do I know who did it? How do you know who did it? Who put that knife in my backpack? You know what I mean? It's easy to assume or guess or suggest, but until someone or something sends me a clear picture replay of them obtaining my knife, where it went, and how it got in my backpack, and showing me, all we can do is guess. Right? That's not being a dick. Let's just use common sense. It's like, all right, I mean, I can't, somebody on our, even if 10, 15,000 people online said the people of the forest returned your knife, did they? Prove it. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. Well, it's an easy way to, I guess, because this topic dominates this channel. It's an easy thing to toss out there and just say, "Oh well, you know, the forest people did it." It's a kind thing. Don't be rude. Say thank you. Sure. Thank you so much for my knife return. Appreciate it. Now, how'd you do it? Who are you? Who are you? How did you do it? How do you observe me? How did you get into my backpack? Right? How did you get that knife in my backpack that I hadn't seen since the previous November, 8 miles away? And this is also a 2-day drive away from my home. Who or what did it? Show me. You know what I mean? It wouldn't matter. I could have, for me, the way my brain fires, I could have, I could take 100,000 people online who could tell me the forest people returned my knife. Maybe. Right? Maybe. Maybe not. Who did it? How did that happen? I don't know. I don't know. There's going to be, all we can do is speculate. It's just like, I don't know. It's an amazing topic. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. But I can't, like I said, I don't jump on bandwagons just because my brain needs to see and learn for itself, right? But at the same time, I need to hear everybody's input. I need to hear everybody's puzzle pieces getting placed. I need to have everybody come here and share. I need that because that's how I learn. I see patterns, right? I see patterns. Right now, I do see a strong pattern of items being returned to people in the most bizarre, alarming way. Alarming for your typical human being, anyways, the average human mind. It's a pattern of having things returned out of the middle of frickin' nowhere. Boom, there it is on my porch. Whammo, there it is on the fence post. My old girlfriend, bam, there's this on her daily walk behind her house. I'm gonna sneeze. On her daily walk behind her house, rural property, where she had the house slapped, where she had her, basically a ferocious Rottweiler was crawling under her bed crying when that went down. And normally he's trying to rip a hole through the front door to get whoever's out there. And then she finds an antique camera, perfect condition, sitting there on the rock on the rural trail, which is only accessible to get to that side, that mountain hill. You have to go from the one road through the private property and then to get back there. No access for anyone, rural. Boom, there's an antique camera out of nowhere sitting on the rock in the middle of her hiking trail. Basically what she said was, they left me a camera. And she's the girl who had the one, quote, loping beside her car, bent over, looking in at her and her girlfriend on the highway between Clearwater and Sorry, my brain's Valemont. On the highway, in a snow blizzard. Face filled the window of her car. That being was maybe, 16 inches from her face? Looking at the car at him. Same person, right? So she can only speculate that these forest people left that there for her, but you don't know for sure. We don't know for certain because you never saw it placed there yourself, right? Anyway, absolutely appreciate that share, man. Florida boy shit. I've been down to Florida, did some Florida boy shit. And here's a funny story. Whenever I hear Florida, Ocala National Forest or whatever, there's a lake. I forget the name of it. It's a great big lake. I could probably find it on maps and name it. Big deal. Whatever, it's a lake. And we were turkey hunting near there with Eddie Salter. Eddie Salter, the turkey man from the television hunting show. And during those times, I stayed at a few different places. I was hunting with a handful of guys. And get this one. This is a random story. And we're talking to these guys. They have these these great big off-road buggies. The wheels were like, I don't know, 5 feet tall wheels. And this great big platform on top with a railing around it. And they went around the jungle down there on these things, hunting off these platforms. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. There's all sand around there too. I remember the sand on the old roads. And we're bullshitting with these young guys. And the one guy was saying that, I was asking about gators, because I've never seen an alligator yet. I was saying, alligators around here, man? He says, oh yeah. And this young guy told me a story about these young guys in their early 20s, drunk, being crazy, and decided there's a smaller lake that's full of alligators, nighttime, and the guy wanted to win the crazy guy contest, so he was going to swim across this lake, drunk. Swims across the lake, gator grabs his arm, twists it right off of his body. Right? This guy told me the story, and he said, I don't know if he knew the guy, but it wasn't too far away from there. So anyways, just take note. This guy told me the story of these young guys drunk, trying to win the crazy contest, jumps in this lake, swims across the lake, gets his arm twisted off by an alligator. Okay? Fast forward a week, and I don't know how many miles away from here, many. Now we're in a different part of the state, hunting another property. Start talking to the young guys, ask about gators, and the one guy goes, yeah man, I was actually had to go on a bit of a rescue mission, search and rescue, or whatever it is he did with the community, to help save a guy who had his arm twisted off by an alligator, and they actually got the arm back. And he had a picture of the arm on his phone. I'm like, what? I just heard the story, a week earlier. And then I ran into the guy who was actually there for the aftermath. Crazy. That reminds me, Nino. We got to get Nino on here, and I want to hear about the crocodile chasing him down. So I think somebody needs to go out and patrol the property, don't you? Hey, Bubs? You getting a little frustrated? You want to go outside? It's light out. I'm going to go do the rounds, make sure there's no bears out there. Alright, give me a minute. Alright. Let's get another one shared. Alright, I guess I'm in the recent thing. The recent inbox. This is titled Crazy Story. Hello, my name is Red Fox. I just watched your video about the knife you lost and how it ended up in your pack. Well, I have a similar story. Backtrack 4 weeks. I'm out exploring a set of woods I've never been to. My backpack is a soft pack, and somehow it unzipped and opened up. I lost a nice set of binoculars, a knife, and a sheath for it. I tried to backtrack my steps to no avail. It was gone, nowhere to be seen. Fast forward now about 6 weeks. I'm out at a new camp just miles from a woodland I was exploring earlier 6 weeks prior. I have, since, like you, Emptied my pack multiple times, reloaded it, and nothing. I'm out camping for a week getaway. Same pack. I packed it before I left. As per my usual, I start emptying my pack to reload everything before going home. And right at the top of the pack is the knife in its sheath and the binoculars I lost 6 weeks prior. I can't explain it. I don't know how, but I can say I did leave camp for a bit, went on a hike, and left my pack back in base camp because I was carrying my camera pack for almost an hour out taking shots. So, it had to have happened from the time I left to go hiking and take pictures and come back to base camp. But I know for a fact those items were not there when I left to go camping, when I left my house. I can't explain it. I don't understand it, but there you go. Was it fate? Was it God? Was it just karma? Who can say? But the items were there. No clue how they got there. And there you go. You know what? Actually, it's relieving in a way, I'm sure, for this man, myself, and many others to hear these absolute, what could be called crazy experiences come forward here. Right? The amount of people that came forward after I cracked the ice with my knife experience is incredible. So there you go. It's a pattern of unexplainable occurrences going down. How the hell is this going down? But you know what? The good thing about this is the more of these experiences we get out now, then at least, hopefully, when we get the answers eventually, we can look back and go, oh, no way, wow. Right? So we have to get these experiences out in the public. We got to get them shared. It's a very strong pattern of things going on that our simple minds just cannot make sense of. But we need to bring it out, speak openly about it. All right, note taken. This is going on. This is one of many things going on. Items appearing out of frickin' nowhere, miles away, whatever it is, months later, appearing back where you wished they were, but they were lost previously. Somewhere. Hope I'm making sense. Right? We need this out. So that we can refer back to these moments now, when we finally spoke openly about it, later on when we come up with some absolute solid answers. We need this shit coming out. All right, you guys? There you go. Another one. Whew. So much. So many people. So many truths. Alright, have I read this? Ooh, this is a real long one. This is like a monstrous long one. This is the one that I need to start reading in the beginning. Actually, I'll mark that for later. Make sure I don't miss it. Now, who do we got? Who's waiting? What do we got? Try another folder. I've got a bunch of folders marked as different months. I've got some different topics. Let's get another one shared. All right, I guess I'm in the recent thing, the recent inbox. This is titled Crazy Story. Hello, my name is Red Fox. I just watched your video about the knife you lost and how it ended up in your pack. Well, I have a similar story. Backtrack 4 weeks. I'm out exploring a set of woods I've never been to. My backpack is a soft pack and somehow it unzipped and opened up. I lost a nice set of binoculars, a knife, and a sheath for it. I tried to backtrack my steps to no avail. It was gone, nowhere to be seen. Fast forward now about 6 weeks. I'm out at a new camp just miles from a woodland I was exploring earlier 6 weeks prior. I have, since, like you, emptied my pack multiple times, reloaded it, and nothing. I'm out camping for a week getaway. Same pack. I packed it before I left. As per my usual, I start emptying my pack to reload everything before going home. And right at the top of the pack is the knife in its sheath and the binoculars I lost 6 weeks prior. Can't explain it. I don't know how, but I can say I did leave camp for a bit, went on a hike, and left my pack back in base camp because I was carrying my camera pack for almost an hour out taking shots. So, it had to have happened from the time I left to go hiking and take pictures and come back to base camp. But I know for a fact those items were not there when I left to go camping, when I left my house. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. But there you go. Was it fate? Was it God? Was it just karma? Who can say? But the items were there. No clue how they got there. And there you go. You know what? Actually, it's relieving in a way, I'm sure, for this man, myself, and many others to hear these absolute, what could be called crazy experiences come forward here. Right? The amount of people that came forward after I cracked the ice with my knife experience is incredible. So there you go. It's a pattern of unexplainable occurrences going down. How the hell is this going down? But you know what? The good thing about this is the more of these experiences we get out now, then at least, hopefully, when we get the answers eventually, we can look back and go, oh, no way, wow. Right? So we have to get these experiences out in the public. We got to get them shared. It's a very strong pattern of things going on that our simple minds just cannot make sense of. But we need to bring it out, speak openly about it. All right, note taken. This is going on. This is one of many things going on. Items appearing out of frickin' nowhere, miles away, whatever it is, months later, appearing back where you wished they were, but they were lost previously. Somewhere. Hope I'm making sense. Right? We need this out. So that we can refer back to these moments now, when we finally spoke openly about it, later on when we come up with some absolute solid answers. We need this shit coming out. All right, you guys? There you go. Another one. Whew. So much. So many people. So many truths. All right, have I read this? Ooh, this is a real long one. This is like a monstrous long one. This is the one that I need to start reading in the beginning. Actually, I'll mark that for later. Make sure I don't miss it. Now, who do we got? Who's waiting? What do we got? Try another folder. I've got a bunch of folders marked as different months. I've got some different topics. Alright, who do we got? Here's another one. I got horses that discovered I'm in here. They're looking at me over the rail, screaming at me. They're hungry. They can wait. Hi Steve, my name is John Posnick. And you can use my full name. Say it loud and proud, brother. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, been there, had too much fun there. Remember years ago I went to the St. Patrick's Day celebrations in that city. I'm coming. And I swore I'd never miss that party weekend ever again. Green beers, Rolling Rock, green beers. So much fun in that city. I love your channel. I happened upon it about a year ago. I've learned more about the subject in that year than the previous 40 plus combined. Thanks. I've been interested in the subject since I was a young boy, watching In Search Of in the 70s. I'm 52 now. My story happened in the late 70s. Me and a couple friends went to a church sports camp for a week. The camp is called Jumanville. Jumanville, Jumonville, and it's about an hour and 20 minutes south of Pittsburgh. It's located on the Chestnut Ridge, where numerous unexplained phenomena has been reported from Sasquatch, UFOs, dogmen, and thunderbirds. It also sits on the Appalachian Mountains. I think my story happened in '78, so I was 10 years old. The cabins where we roomed were up on the hill. Each cabin had about 7 boys. The mess hall was at the bottom of the hill. There are asphalt paths that wind down the hill to the bottom where the mess hall is. The different cabins would line up outside to follow one another down the path when we went to eat. One morning we were all walking to breakfast. Up ahead of me I noticed kids walking off the path and into the grass. When I got up to that spot, I looked down and couldn't believe my eyes. Laying on the path was what looked like a stillborn monkey fetus. I think it was big too, at least 2 feet long. It was as tall as the path was wide. It was definitely bipedal, but didn't have a tail. I was just staring at this thing, which is probably only 30 seconds, when I noticed I had fallen behind my group and was getting passed by other groups, so I ran to catch my group. Even at that age, I knew nothing like that should be in the area. I never told anyone that story. I never talked about it again until yesterday. I decided to contact a friend I knew almost definitely was in my cabin that year. His name is Kenny Noah. And he said, use his name, he doesn't care. He lives in Ohio now, but we still keep in contact through Facebook and occasionally text. He said he was right next to me and remembers too. Attached is our text conversation. You can post it or read it as well. I had to ease into that conversation, though, in case he wasn't in my cabin that year. LOL. Crazy how neither one of us brought that up again in 40 plus years. That's my story. Take care, Steve, and be safe out there. P.S. Sorry to hear about your buddy Macaroni. Pets are the best. I'd take mine over most people. Here's a screenshot of a text conversation. I'll read it. How's your recovery going along? Not bad. Got a lot of headaches and weird nerve crap, but there is no timeline for it to stop completely. How are you, man? All good, bro. Do you remember when we kicked the hole in the wall at Jumanville? Absolutely. Scary at the time it occurred, but pretty funny now. Do you remember the song we were singing as we were stomping the wall? Wasn't it the Noah's Ark song? I was thinking John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. I swear we were kicking on the wall, yell, get these kids out of the muddy, LOL. Do you by any chance remember walking to the mess hall and seeing what looked like a stillborn monkey fetus laying on the asphalt, coming from the cabins? I don't know the year or even who I was with. Sounds crazy, but definitely happened. I do. I was walking with you and it was super gross. Damn. I knew that really happened. It wasn't a dream or something. What's even crazier is that thing wasn't like 3 inches long. It was at least 2 feet long. Yeah, I remember. No idea where it came from. I'm going to have to talk to you about that. Yeah, I can't remember the entire story, but I remember seeing it. That's all I remember too, along with how everyone, including counselors, just walked around it like it was nothing out of the ordinary. I was staring at it dumbfounded. Yeah, I recall most people didn't pay it a second's notice. LOL, I don't know what made me think of that today. I probably haven't thought about that in 15 years. Another 15 before that. But it does pop up. Yeah, that's crazy. Way out of the blue. I haven't thought about it in a good 30 plus years either. And that was it. Here's the whole text conversation. What's up with that? How does a group of people walk by something like that? 2 foot long, monkey-like fetus laying on the frickin' pathway. Weird, man. The weird thing is there's been a handful of people mentioning coming across some kind of a stillborn creature on the ground in North America looking like a monkey or something. Isn't that weird? Very, very weird. And there you go. Take from what you will or leave it, right? Take from it what you will or leave it. Those horses are getting pushy. Alright. Now I just had a cat screaming at me. I'll tell you what, man. This is frickin' Noah's Ark, this property. I can't go 2 feet around here without bumping into a horse, a cat, or a dog, or a chicken. Anyway, quick note on yesterday's video. It's funny, the numbers, when you look at the view numbers on videos on here, I don't know why it's different, but like if you go on the regular YouTube app and you see how many views are on a video, let's have a look. I'll show you an example. Excuse me. So yesterday's video, so far it says publicly 27,000 views. Alright? But then you go to the developers app where they show you the actual numbers. And, excuse me, on here it lists, we got a cat in here. That video yesterday, excuse me, has seen 26,000 people have seen it so far. Less than 24 hours. And there's a bit of a rant on there. I was a little fired up, right? I'm still fired up, and I stand behind every word I said. And in recent things have, there's a lot of people in contact with me, and they share what they know firsthand. What do you need? What do you need, kitty? Interrupting. Okay, carry on. Anyway, this is just the fact. This is just how my life goes. I can't do anything without animals around me. So anyway, I want you to picture this. Imagine if you were, just play along with me for a minute. We've got a few more minutes. Imagine if you had managed to get your face in front of a bunch of lenses including TV shows or movies or documentaries, whatever, interviews, and you managed to get your face in front of that lens, and oh man, it felt so good, and you really started to benefit from it, right? But imagine if at the same time you knew you were lying through your teeth, right? Imagine if you had come up with a character for that lens, and it worked. It worked. People loved you. People kept inviting you on different shows and different interviews and documentaries all around. You started charging money to go camping. Right? Just imagine. It's working. But at the same time, you managed to... Okay, alright, that's enough. Down you go. At the same time, maybe you were put in that position. Maybe you found yourself in that position. Maybe you felt you needed to be in that position. But either way, you fell in that position of being able to keep all those people who are watching you going in a circle. You kept manipulating them intentionally to go down this path over here when it comes to revealing truth. Let's just say, alright? Let's just say you've done this. And you know you're lying, right? You know you are lying. The whole time you know you're lying, but you got this covered. Nobody's going to figure it out, right? Everybody believes you. You've got them duped. They think you're the best thing since frickin' apple pie. But imagine if, all of a sudden a whole bunch of people got together and started forming this massive group of truthful, motivated people, honest people, people that weren't scared. You start losing control a little bit and you see a little bit of a shitstorm coming up. Right? And you notice this group of people starting to get twigged on to the real truth of apparently what you and others have actually been doing. Alright? Play along with me. So now, you've got years invested in this character you developed. You've got years of lying to and manipulating the same people that have been supporting you and praising you. Okay? Play along. And then all of a sudden, some prick who's not scared of you knows the truth. You know this prick knows the truth of what you have done. And now he starts basically directly delivering it to the world. The truth of what you've been doing. what you've done to innocent people, what you've done to innocent women. Right? Uh-oh, somebody knows. And he's not scared. He's not scared. Uh-oh. Oh, and he's still here. And now we get a whole bunch of these other characters that you've surrounded yourself with, and they're all trying to make videos about this prick, me. You're trying to shut him up. It's not working. Uh-oh, he's getting more popular. Uh-oh. Right? Follow me. Just play along. Uh-oh, now he's really finding out the shit that I've really been doing. Uh-oh. What am I going to do? Maintain character. Maintain character. Don't give in. Stay cool. It'll go away. We'll discredit him. Uh-oh, it's not working anymore. Uh-oh. Holy shit, look at how many people are there behind him. That's the most people ever. Uh-oh. In all my years in front of the lenses and TV shows and documentaries and interviews, I've never seen this amount of people ever before. Uh-oh. And the truth's being shared with all those people. Oh shit. Well, now all those good, kind, honest people are finding out about all the dirty, filthy shit that I've done in the past and present. Uh-oh. Play along. Now all of a sudden, well, I booked myself another appearance on a boat. Once that ship leaves shore, there's no getting out of it. And then you get on that ship, and then all of a sudden you start seeing an overwhelming amount of people wearing how to hunt t-shirts and hats. Oh shit. Right? And then you know previously that prick has encouraged everyone to, if they ever find themselves at one of these gatherings, to absolutely hammer on those individuals on the stage who may be guilty of annihilating innocent women's careers and lives, and more. And ask them if they ever got the opportunity. You got them cornered on a stage, ask them what's up with that. Did you do this? How come you did this? How come you and so-and-so and so-and-so did this to all these people? And start listing names, and be relentless, and don't stop asking that question, demand an answer. Uh-oh, now you're aware of the reality of this possibility going down the second you hit that stage. Oh shit. You see all those people wearing those t-shirts and hats on the ship. Oh no. Now, how would you get out of that one? How would you get out of that? Right? You're stuck on a ship, it's left shore, it's going to be offshore for what, days on end? And then you're stuck on that ship and you're expected to go on that stage in front of all those truth-seeking, good, honest people. And now you're starting to realize, oh no, all these people know the truth. Oh shit. How am I going to get out of this? Right? I'll leave you with that thought. I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I got animals to feed. And I will be back later. Sharing truth and getting all your voices heard, word for word, and exposing the dirty, filthy sons of bitches. Right here I am. I'm not even raging today. Not even angry. But I'm maintaining course. There you go. Share my story at howtohunt.com. That's where you will get your truth shared word for word. And if you got anything you want to share with the people about somebody who might have done something real bad to you when it comes to this topic, share it with us and bring the receipts. Alright? Bring it out in the open. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. This team here is the team of the good, honest people, and it is the largest one in the world when it comes to this topic and more. Alright? You found your people, you're safe, we got you back. If you have something that some dark sons of bitches have done and you know it for a fact, you got receipts, get it to me. Alright?